Transmission of the flame. How did you meet your so-called unknown teacher? Some of the friends I met and with whom I spoke of peace, freedom, and joy had a spiritual guide. One day I met their teacher, and on this and several other meetings, I asked him many questions, questions that expressed all my earnestness to find my real center. Well, it seems that you trusted him at once. I was open to him. I was struck by his lack of striving, his humility. He never tried to impress or convince. There was simply no personality. All his answers came from nowhere, no one, and yet his gentle openness was apparent. I was struck also by his argument that potentially you are, and it only needs actualizing. He never saw anyone as not knowing. He gave no hold to my personality. He gave me many answers, but during the several weeks that I didn't see him, I became aware that all my questions had been an escape, an evasion of the real question. The existential crisis I had always lived in became acute. I lived with this feeling that I had missed the real question, a question I was not able to formulate. Then I had the opportunity to visit him where he lived in a little room in the Sanskrit college at Bangalore, where he was a teacher. Two other young Indians were present, and they were talking about the Karikas of Gaudapada and the Mandukya Upanishad. The talk was of the four states: waking, sleeping, dreaming, and Turiya. He said that Turiya is not properly speaking of as a state which one enters and leaves. It becomes a non-state when you are awake in it. Turiya is the absence of our self, which is our total presence. And then there was a silence. The other students left, and he suddenly looked at me and asked, "Do you know yourself?" I was a bit disturbed by this question because I didn't really know what he meant. I couldn't find a way to look at it. So I said hesitatingly, "Yes," because I was thinking I knew my body, senses, and mind very well. He said to me, "You are the knower of your body, senses, and mind, but the knower can never be known because you are it, and there is nobody to know it. It can never become an object of observation because it is your totality." This saying had a very strong impact on me. I had a glimpse of reality in this moment because it stopped all intellectual faculties. We were silent, and then I left. Well, did this impact remain with you when you got home? It left a very strong echo in me of freedom from old beliefs. I went home and lived with it, free from all conceptualization, and felt myself awake in this not knowing. It was completely new. There was no absence of knowing. Did life change or go on as usual? Life went on with eating and meeting people, but there was now a feeling that I was behind all daily activities. I saw Panditji many times afterward and realized that he was my guru, because this profound impact can only come from a guru. So you see, he found me when I was not looking for him. The sayings of the old man Cheng. The sayings of old man Cheng convey a sense which is dependent neither on time nor place, nor on the words and he who uttered them, nor on signs or letters and those who have transcribed them. Since old man Cheng looks on himself as but a block of resounding wood, it would be vain to seek to know who he is, or to give oneself to commenting, comparing, or speculating concerning his sayings, and thus remain at the level of historical intellectualism, as well as proving that nothing had been understood of his sayings, and that one's heart was closed to the sense they bear. It is therefore important to keep these sayings in their unspoiled freshness, so as to preserve the fullness of their power and ensure that their sense will ever remain untainted. Old man Cheng said, I, old Cheng, do not intervene to maintain, modify, or change the course of things by following the desires of the individual mind. Let there be neither distrust nor revolt, but only the necessary act. If I behave in a different way with you, it is so that you might at last, by yourselves, directly see original spirit, instead of always seeking it through the meditation of dead fellows, or by running after scatterbrains like me. My own manner, indeed, is to shake you like saplings in the mountain wind. Thus I break up all your struts and props, and there you are, all undone, with nothing more to hold on to. But since I sap up all that you rely upon, and thus you are filled with fear, you say to reassure yourselves that I sin against the law and convention and am but a vile blasphemer. So you go on desperately clinging to appearances and accessories instead of letting them depart from you by themselves without striving to hold on to them. My words find no echo in you, so I play a trick on you and tell you they come from a great and famous fellow who has been dead for centuries. But you still do not understand that they are your direct and immediate concern. On the contrary, you seize on them as something precious, good, for keeping and to cultivate. Bald heads, by holding on to futilities, you simply waste your life away, and the evidence of original spirit slips through your fingers. What a shipwreck for you! Nitwits, original spirit does not appear when sleep leaves you, and does not disappear when sleep comes to you. Original spirit is nothing, and is totally independent of that which changes and dies. If original spirit were truly your sole occupation, you would see all that alters and dies in the same way that you perceive the movements that dancers give to their streamers, and would resolve to constantly seek that which in you neither varies nor dies. And once you find it, then not one of the 1,000 worlds could divert you in your thoughts for the instant of a flash, or in the slightest degree make you stray from it in your actions. You believe you aspire to original spirit, but you only actually seek the satisfaction of a condition or learning and of merit. Because of this, you nincompoops are entirely under the fascination of all that in you and outside of you is not steadfast and just dies. That is why the sayings of old Cheng simply go through you without making an impression, like the birds which leave no trace in the sky. You bald pates, all that you think and say concerning original spirit is but the erring and wandering of your own puny little minds. To that which nature spontaneously brings you, you respond only after interpreting it through all that you have placed on a pedestal above your heads. Baldies, this being as artificial as the dragons made for festivals, how can you hope to see original spirit in its spontaneity? In my youth, I went all around the land, giving myself up to the study and practices. I associated with those who hadn't strayed, and imagining they had found the light, did nothing but cause others to stray. Then I met him who enabled me to see all the useless mud I bore with me. The way of truth appeared to me, and original spirit became my sole occupation. And one day, everything suddenly collapsed into awareness. I, old Cheng, do not imitate so-and-so or such and such a one. I hold to no belief, no school of thought do I follow. No one's disciple am I. In my true nature, I know nothing. I own nothing. I am nothing. For there is no old Cheng there. In the ordinary way, the things in which I take part of themselves just flow by, pass away on their own. Even original spirit is no longer my concern. The words I speak to you come not from that which is learnt. Shaved skulls, I have hidden nothing from you. What profit is there for you? Nothing but stuff and nonsense. Exit Old Man Cheng. Old Man Cheng said, original spirit has ever been present under your very eyes. You need acquire nothing to see it because you have never lacked anything for seeing it. If you are incapable of seeing it, it is because of your unceasing chatter with yourselves and with others. You spend your time supposing, comparing, computing, developing, explaining, justifying, and quoting what your puny minds have retained and thought they understood of the scriptures and of the words of old jackasses like me, giving preference to sayings from those to whom, after their death, was given such authority as put them beyond all doubts. In these circumstances, how can you hope to see original spirit in its instantaneousness? Dumbbells, because you are as agitated as a wagon load of monkeys and spend your time in futilities, your existence passes by like murky, muddy water. No outlet for you. To say that original spirit is not sheer void without factual existence, that is just words. In thinking about original spirit lies your poison. Giving up this thought and thinking of the absence of this thought, there again lies your poison. Lame brains, you are ever seeking with your thought, and you do nothing but fabricate thoughts. Thinking that original spirit can be seen by means of thought, that is where you perish. burning incense, reciting sutras, spending time bowing to the ground, or concentrating on staying perfectly still, fixing or eliminating thought. This is where you stray. Numbskulls, you are always intervening, and you do nothing but keep acting thus and so, hoping to see original spirit by means of actions. That is your illusion. Venerating the Buddha, that is the evil of attachment. Rejecting the Buddha, that is the evil of impiety. You dolts, you are ever bent on expressing emotions, and you do nothing but produce sentiment. Believing one can see original spirit by means of sentiment, there is your mistake. You dimwits are convinced you will come to see original spirit in this manner, but it is you and you alone that you will catch. Never do you hear, never can original spirit be found that way. You fail to hear my words because you wish to remain deaf, and you do not see original spirit because you wish to remain blind. There is no hope for you. When you consider the thoughts of others as something precious and sacred, and learn, recite, and transcribe them with great care and veneration in order to transmit them as a great secret, that is what I call being chained up under the thoughts. When you cultivate the thoughts of your puny mind, looking on them as something rare, worthy of being preserved, and giving vent to a whore's irritability if they are not respected, or if in the restating of them the slightest mistake is made, that is what I call being chained up by thoughts. When others' thoughts and your own appear to you as the waves of the sea which come and go, without any one of them being better or worse than the others, and without a single one affecting you, yet you hold to the one thought of having attained a state of perfect calm. This is what I call erring above thoughts. When no thought any longer holds your attention, because evidence is born that, in regard to original spirit, there is nothing to keep and nothing to be attained by thought. This is what I call being on the threshold of original spirit. To be in non-time, non-place, non-form, non-movement, and non-thought, and to know what is perceived in the absence of any perception. This is what I call seeing original spirit. When you have studied all the scriptures and every treatise of every patriarch, when you have met all the awakened ones and mastered all the practices and mysterious forces, if you do not see original spirit, even if you have become summits of spirituality, of holiness, and of science, your life, nincompoops, will never be other than a futile amusement. Regarding the words traced on this scroll, which I have just read, if I tell you they are from the Buddha, you look upon them as sacred, and you are filled with veneration and fear. If I tell you they are from Bodhidharma or from a great patriarch, you are filled with admiration and respect. If I tell you they are by an unknown monk, you no longer know what to think, and you are filled with doubt. If I tell you they come from the monk in the kitchens, you burst out laughing, thinking I have just played a trick on you. Thus, what counts for you is not the truth that these words bear, but only the importance to be granted them according to the fame of the one from whom they are said to have come. You are incapable of seeing for yourselves, but only feel what you think should be felt. and think according to the opinion of those who have placed on a pedestal. You are forever adding to things and tainting them and falsifying them. That is why you are powerless to see original spirit without reference to who or whatever it might be. Nincompoops, you are nothing but fakes and tricksters. Your case is hopeless. Old man Cheng left the room.